Alright, so this live training will walk you through the following: choosing the domain name that can rank your business on the internet, buying domain name and hosting, activating your cPanel, launching your website, designing your website, setting your website to a mobile view, then creating a business email address. So welcome to the Queen of Web Academy. The Queen of Web Academy is all about technology and marketing. We are basically about programming, web development, and digital marketing. We have various courses readily available, both free and premium courses. As some of us here might have passed through some of my courses. We have HTML5 and CSS3 course, we have JavaScript course, WordPress course, WhatsApp marketing, and then so on. So please, you have been introducing yourself and I've been reading from the comment section. Let's progress. Alright, so choosing domain name. Domain name is a business storefront sign on the web or internet, just like a storefront sign on a physical store. You know, when you enter a market or you're just going by a bus stop, you would some stores, they already have the signboard, and from their signboard you can immediately know what is actually going on inside the store. You know what they are about, you know what their business is all about. Alright, so that is what your domain name is on the internet. So you need to choose a domain name that immediately everyone sees it, they can almost immediately guess what your business is all about. There are different ways in which people choose their domain names, but I'll be recommending just 3 ways as stated below. Okay, so the first one is domain name coined from personal name. I know many of us will have been coming across some domain names where people be using exactly their full name, their first name, and probably their surname.com. Here in Nigeria, we have one of the coaches. One is Oyekunle Damola, and that is what he uses on the internet. So oyekunledamola.com, and there are many of them, all those international coaches too. We have Franken, we have Billy Jean. There are many like that they use their name on the internet. This name is very useful for those who have been promoting their personal brand for long. Let's say you've been helping people online for long and it has been your name, they have known you with. You can continue using it so far they already know you with values with that your name. Alright, so but it has its own setback too. And what are the setbacks for this is that it's not going to rank your business on the internet just like that. You know, let's say somebody wants to buy a product or service that has to do with fashion, and the person just type fashion something on the internet, and you can imagine you just use your name like habibaalelo.com on the internet. Your domain name will not internet will not suggest your website for this person to view something from, because your website does not carry the name that has to do with fashion. But there are other ways that all this can be bypassed, and that is through the internal SEO. When you include SEO inside your other things on your website, not just the name. Website is not actually only about the domain name, but that is the first thing, as we all know. Alright, so this is very useful for those who have been promoting their personal brand for long, but it is not going to be useful if someone search for a keyword in business on the internet. A major advantage of this kind of domain name is that you can launch any other business under the same name. Let's say my domain name is habibaalelo.com, and you have all known me with, okay, I've been training on programming, I've been doing different that has to do with digital marketing and then web development. So if tomorrow by chance I come across a kind of business, let's say it has to do with, okay, let's say traveling, for instance. Let's say, okay, I'm able to travel from this I'm able to relocate to, let's say, Canada, and I know there are some many other people who also want to travel to Canada, but they don't know how to. Then I think of, okay, let me start teaching them. Let me start selling some courses on how they can relocate. Search. I can't use this presently. My domain name is thequeenofweb.com. Another thequeenofweb.com. It does not have any relationship to do with traveling abroad. Do you get that now? But if my domain name has been abibaaleilo.com, I can easily put that travel abroad course under that same website and nothing will happen. Okay, so another way is domain coined from business keyword. Domain name coined from business keyword. This is the best domain name when we are taking SEO into high consideration. When you are considering your SEO very well, you want your search engine optimization. Please mute your microphone. Please, for Allah's sake, mute your microphone. Alright, so when we are taking SEO into consideration, and SEO is search engine optimization, such that when people search for something on the internet, they can easily get you, then you need to think of this when choosing your name. When you are choosing a name that has to do with business keyword, then it's going to help you rank higher in SEO compared to someone that used a personal name. So this kind of example of this is, let's say you are selling something that has to do with kiddie stuffs. You can choose a name like kiddiespal.com or kiddiesososotins.com or babies affairs, something like that. So names that people will want to keyword that people will search for when they want to shop for their babies. Another example is mine, which is thequeenofweb.com. So many seeing this, everyone know this business has to do with web. See that website, anything about web. All right. Okay, so this one now, domain coined from both. Some people actually combine both their name and their business together. A good example of this is one of our business guru in Nigeria here. Her name is it Trisha Ikuwaba or something? I can't actually remember how to pronounce her surname or even the spelling, but it is popularly known as Trisha Biz. And her first name is Trisha, and she's into helping business owners make more sales online. So she combines Trisha with business, and that is her name. So it's a very good one also. Okay, the next one is tips on domain name. What are those tips that I'm going to be sharing with you today? Number one, ideal domain name should accurately describe your business. If your business has to do with estate, then you are dealing with homes of people, so you can actually choose something homes, something estate, so something like that. If your business has to do with investment, try to let it appear on your domain name. That is the first thing. Then another thing is that your domain name should be kept relatively short and simple. So you shouldn't think too much. Don't let us overthink when we want to choose domain name. Like some of us, we just love to use dictionary when we want to choose domain name. Be looking for some words that is very I don't know. You need to. It's not about you. Your business is not actually about you. It's about your customers. It's about your clients. So before you can conclude on anything, you need to consider them. You may be a guru in English. What about your customers? Do they actually have time for checking dictionary before they can know the meaning of your business name? No. So you have to keep it relatively short and simple. Then it should be easy to spell. Your domain name should be easy to spell. Don't use I usually advise people not to use some words that have different spelling, ranges from countries. Some spellings use double letters in British English, and when it comes to American English, they use just a single letter. So such name, I usually advise my people not to use it, because let's say, okay, like one of my buddy was using Queen Weber or something like that, and Our own Weber, she usually spell it to be Webber. Meanwhile, many people, like 80% of those who have saved our contact, usually save it with Weber, not BB. So this kind of name is not actually advisable, because another person might go ahead and open a website with that single B instead of double B, and you might end up losing your customers to such person. So it is better you use a free name that is easy to spell for everyone. Then your domain name should not include confusing hyphens and numbers. As some people, they are fond of adding underscore, hyphens, different numbers. You can do that with your emails, but please not with your domain name. This is business. This is business. This is not for fun. So make sure you use a very simple name. Other tips are, if possible, register a domain name with a .com extension. That is the most recognized form of extension we all know. Everything, when you know of somebody's business name, the next thing we think of that will be the person's domain name is thing.com. For instance, if you know my business name will be kiddiespal, as I've said, the next thing that will come to your mind is kiddiespal.com if you want to search for me on the internet. So early we people think of .store, .shop. We have different extensions, but make sure that if possible, make sure you keep this .com. And it's the first thing that comes to people's mind exactly. Then another thing is use .org for non-profit organizations. If what your business is all about non-governmental NGO, then you can use .org. But despite that, you are using .org, make sure you still reserve your .com. If your name is let's say what is the name that is very common for charity like that? Let's say charityhome.org, right? That is the ideal one for you because you are an NGO. But despite that, try to register charityhome.com and reserve it somewhere so that another person will not take that name. Use .edu if it is education related. It's still the same thing. Make sure you reserve your .com extension. And then the last advice here is that whatever extension you are using, make sure that you reserve your .com extension. Okay, let me tell you my experience. Just last month, I used to use Domain King. I used to buy domains and hosting from Domain King before, but it's been long I used them. So domainking.ng is actually different from domainking.com. I only know them to be Domain King when I bought the domain and hosting from them, but after that, last month I wanted to do something on their site, so and I just searched for Domain King, and then it's only their logo that let me sense that no, this is not the site I'm trying to work on. So there is actually another site, another business with Domain King, but this one is .com. Why the one that is very popular with us here? Because that Domain King that I said that I used before is a Nigerian company, so they use domainking.ng. So tell me, won't they be losing customers to domainking.com? So even if you want to use another extension for a reason best known to you, make sure you keep your .com extension. All right. Also, what is hosting now? Hosting is the place where website files like images, videos, documents, etc. and data of your customers are stored on the internet. If you don't have hosting, if you don't register with any hosting company, people will not be able to access your website. You just have that domain name reserved. It will be reserved, right? But people will not be able to access whatever you have on your domain, on your website. So it is with the help of hosting that people can actually have access to what you have on your website. All right, so it's time to practice. So it's time for practical. It's time to buy whatever we want to buy and then start building our website. All right, so build your website in 4 simple steps. So the first one is buy domain name and hosting. Then after that you progress to install your WordPress. Then you import the design. Then we customize the design. All right, so let's move straight to that now.